Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me this Sunday morning. I really apologize, heartfully apologize for not being here for you on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. I got really sick, you guys, and as you could kind of tell from my voice, I'm still a little bit nasally, feeling so much better. Thank God it wasn't something worse than just a little cold. So I am so happy to be back in the flow of things and feeling good and having vibrant health again and ready to serve you and Goddess. So thank you so very much for your patience and your willingness to join me this morning for this live product review and presentation of the Ancestor Spirit Oracle Cards. I'm really excited to be checking this out. You know, I'm all about the ancestors. Good morning, Rachel. How are you, honey? Thank you so much for your email. I will answer it today, pretty much right after this call. So stay tuned for that, Rachel. And thank you again for hanging in there with me and being so patient. But yes, every day I feel better and better and better. Good morning, Sherry. Thank you so much for joining me. Howdy, honey. How are you doing? I'm right here on the Oregon coast in my usual spot at Glen Eden Beach. So if you ever head down this way, do pop in and say hello to me. I'd love to see ya. And without further ado, because, I don't want to take up too much of your Sunday morning. Excuse me, I'm thinking I have cat hair on me. I want to just give a kind of a brief explanation about me and my connection to ancestors and why I'm always talking to you about reaching out to your ancestors. In the world of divination, we tell our clients that the truth is within you. When you work a pendulum, that vibration that comes out in that pendulum is coming from you. The truth is in you. When you, excuse me, still have a tickle. When you pull an affirmation card, when you're doing tarot, any kind of divination, you're just pulling the truth from within you. Excuse me, guys. And the reason why that is because your ancestors live within you. They live within your very bones. Every generation of ancestors has added to who you are as a person. Their wisdom, their experience, their overall vibrational energy is alive in your very bones. That wisdom comes forth through divination. I did not know that it would be so challenging to talk this morning. So please bear with me. I feel fine. I just have a tickle. So when you ask your ancestors for intercession, their wisdom, their experience, what you're doing is pulling that wisdom up out of your own self, who you are, what is alive in your own bones. That truth is now you. And when you have children, you're passing it on to them. So that's why I talk so much about ancestors, and that's why I'm really excited when I come across another ancestor-focused oracle deck. As you can see, the shrink wrap is still on this one. Let me just see if I can use my keys to unlock it. The author of this deck is Jade Sky. It is illustrated by Belinda Morris. And even though the author offers us words of wisdom with the oracle deck, it's usually the imagery that speaks to us the most. And this is why altars are so powerful. When we build an altar and we make it, just the way we want it and everything and pretty, and it speaks to us, it kind of taps into our own kind of visual awareness and speaks to us in a different level. Now, I purchased this deck from the Crystal Wizard bookstore where I am today, but you can get this on Amazon and I'm sure from Jade Sky's website. On the back of this deck, it talks about a call. Answer the call of the ancestors to connect to their wisdom. Discover their truths and accept their support. This is another thing that people tend to forget, is that when you call upon your ancestors to intercede for you and to support you and to help you and to guide you, they will answer that call because, again, they are alive within you. We're not talking about ghosts, okay? We're talking about the actual spirit of the ancestors. So when you open the box, the top sheet is just a little piece of paper, perhaps to take notes or to use as a bookmark, maybe. Then you have this little instruction book. And then the cards themselves. Now, before we get on to the cards, there is this really cool image on the back of an ancestor overlooking a gentleman out there. It looks Aboriginal to me, or in the plains of Africa. And it says here, the ancestor spirits have been calling to you and have been patiently waiting for you to listen to them. They have wanted to connect with your energy for quite some time. Pay attention to the messages of the ancestors, and they will offer answers to your guides. Your guides. They will offer answers to your questions and guidance for your life journey. So it looks like there are, I want to say, oh, I like the way this book is outlined. It gives you the meaning of the card here, and then it talks about the message, the direct message from the ancestors, and then some divination meaning, divinatory meaning. So we'll get into that in just a moment. Let's take a look at the cards. The first card in the deck is Answer the Call. Now, these cards are not numbered like many decks are. So I hope that they're alphabetized in the index so we don't have to read the whole book to find the card that we are looking for. But let's just take a peek at some of the imagery. Answer the call. Kind of looks like they're going on an adventure. Reminds me of the Fool card in the Tarot. Awaken your inner shaman. Now, let's talk about that for a minute because there's a perception in some groups that to call yourself a shaman is cultural appropriation, but I'd like to remind you that shamanism is global, okay? Every continent has a shamanic practice. So it is not cultural appropriation. There are other things that come into being when you talk about cultural appropriation when you're trying to practice another culture's spirituality. But shamanism in and of itself is not cultural appropriation. Just to be clear about that. This one is back to basics. Looks like hunter-gatherer type of energy to me. Well, let's just see. There's a card here about balancing. This is a Native American medicine wheel imagery. What I really like is that apparently this author has used many cultural imagery to represent the meaning of the card. Excuse me, guys. So, connect to animals. This looks Northern European to me. And we are all such a melange of racial and ethnic lineage that it's really hard to pinpoint, just exactly what heritage we have. If you ever have done one of those DNA tests, you might have seen that you're 25% Spanish, 10% Italian. I mean, you could be all over the board, okay? Because our ancestors traveled the whole globe. Then it talks about connecting with past loved ones. Looks like Day of the Dead. This looks Vietnamese or Balinese to me. This looks kind of Spanish, like straight out of Spain to me, which is where some of my people come from. My mother was Anglo-Saxon and Spanish Romany, and goodness knows what other ethnic and racial background she had. My dad is African American and Blackfoot Indian. Aw, look at this sweet picture. I love that the cards are matte, they're not shiny, and the art is so detailed. So this is the Ancestor Spirit Oracle deck. It is not a tarot deck, but it looks like it will be offering us a lot of messages directly from our ancestors. Now, when I pull cards for you guys, I want you to know that I have already set the intention that I become the avatar for you. That your hands are on the deck, mine are. And I'm stepping into the role of being your avatar so that your spirit team can work through me on your behalf. So I'm just going to shuffle this deck here a few times. And if you would like a card, please do let me know in the comments, and I will certainly pull one for you and then read it from the book. And you'll let me know how accurate it is, and if this is a great deck for you, that it actually was helpful for you. Now, there is a member here that has spoken to me in a language that I do not know or have the ability to translate. Just a second. Let me see if this little button will help me translate. Nope. So I apologize. I'm hoping that your comment was a greeting, but I will say to you that if you would like a card, just type anything and I will pull that card for you. Okay? I can't even read your name. I really apologize. They don't let me translate on this YouTube app. All right, Sherry, this first card is going to be for you. And then, Rachel, I will pull a card for you. Let's call in your spirit team. Holy Mother, thank you so much for this day and this opportunity to offer readings for anyone who asks for one. Goddess, I ask that the spirit teams of everybody present on this call, on this video, is present with us right now. Let their presence just fill this room and guide me to the right and perfect card for everyone who asks for one. I open my third eye to receive your message. I didn't show you the back of the deck. It's fire. All of these cards, the back of it is fire. So, Mother, the first card is going to be for Sherry. And what message does her ancestors have for her today? Your card is connect with past loved ones. Connect with past loved ones. Now, I would say also that loved ones are not always ancestors, okay? Loved ones could be your pets. Loved ones could be your best friends or other people that you've known and loved and missed and would like to speak to. Oh boy. Oh, here we go. 32. The index is alphabetized by the name of the card, not by the number on the card, because the card has no number. So we turn to page 32. The Aztecs had a complex cosmology and a ritual calendar dedicated to their many deities. They held a strong belief in the afterlife and thought the way they died determined whether they would go up in spirit to the sun god or down to the dark underworld. The underworld was ruled by the god and goddess of the dead. I cannot pronounce these names, y'all. Sorry. As a guardian of the afterlife, one of them oversaw festivals of the dead. Over time, her traditions evolved into Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, which in modern day Mexico is celebrated on the first and second days of November. During de los Muertos, the gates of the underworld opened and spirits were allowed to reunite with their families. The living and the dead reconnect with family feasts, dancing, and celebrations. It is believed that keeping their deceased loved ones happy will bring good luck, wisdom, direction, love, and protection for the living family. Now, y'all, this does not just apply to folks with Mexican heritage or South American heritage. Asian cultures also honor their dead ancestors and keep them alive. Other cultures do all over the world, and most shamans that I know have an ancestor altar in their home that they light candles and pour libations, and they leave food on that altar to feed their ancestors. They want those ancestors to remain happy and alive in their life so that they can always guide them and help them keep healthy and happy. So consider where you can place the ancestors in your own home so that you can keep them alive in your life. So the ancestor message, Sherry, to you is pay attention to what you feel around you. As well as your 5 key physical senses, you have a 6th sense that connects you to the spiritual world. This card indicates that your 6th sense is strong. Your ancestors or loved ones in spirit are trying to get your attention. They are sending you signs that they are with you and love you very much. Watch for their signals and be open to connecting with them. In divination, this card means to learn how to connect with your loved ones in spirit so they can bring guidance, confirmation, and encouragement in times of stress or trouble. You may sense your past loved ones when the hair on your arms rise or when you feel heat or cold in and around your body. You may also experience sensation in your stomach or a heightened need to be on alert. When this occurs, take a moment to ground, breathe deeply, clear your mind, and allow guidance to arise in your heart, mind, or your feelings. This is so true. And I think that if you have been paying attention, when you get that intuitive hit or you feel the spirit is moving through you, you may get goosebumps or a flash of intense heat or cold or just a funny feeling in your gut. That is your ancestors speaking to you. Never, ever ignore those feelings. Pay attention to them and apply that to your life. Just just let it happen. Let it happen and let that wisdom come to the surface of your consciousness, your awakened consciousness. Oh, nice to know, Sherry. Oh, you're living in Portland now. Well, next time I go to Portland, I'll make sure to let you know. Maybe we can meet and have coffee, Sherry. I'd love that. So you understand about the chills, Sherry. You understand about the chills and how it speaks truth to us. It's our physical sensation of, oh my gosh, this is the truth. This is real. This is what's really happening in my life. So yes, please do some work around that to even make that connection to your ancestors even stronger, so they can continue to act as a divination for you, to show you the truth of the matter. Sorry about the shaky table, y'all. So if there's no questions about that, Sherry, I am going to go right into a reading for Rachel. This card is for Rachel. This card is for you, Rachel. Be an open channel. Be an open channel. I love the expression on this individual's face. They almost look elated. Elated. Oftentimes we shy away from these opportunities to be an open channel because we're afraid. We're afraid of what message will come through. We're afraid that we'll get it wrong. But look how open, head up, chest open, elated, happy to receive that message. Be an open channel. Page 22. The Zulu people place great importance on looking after and honoring their ancestors, who they refer to as Amadolozi. As ancestors protect, guide, and help the living family members connect to the divine consciousness. That's another word I can't pronounce, y'all. Sorry. It is wise to keep them happy. Souls are brought from the place of physical death to the family home, where there is a sacred place dedicated to the ancestor spirits. Talking about the Ancestor Altar again. Let's see. This place is called Imasmo. Imasmo. And it is here that people communicate with or make offerings to their ancestors. It is believed that unhappy ancestors could be a source of trouble, such as financial hardships, accidents, or sickness. For assistance communicating with and appeasing their ancestors, people may call upon a sangoma, a respected healer or medium. A sangoma uses ritual and traditional medicines to address physical and spiritual ailments. Again, that shamanic practice of connecting that person with their ancestral wisdom so that they can have a spontaneous healing, so to speak. The sangoma is shown up to make you aware that you are a natural born medium who can already channel past loved ones and spirits. You may have already felt or seen spirits or received signs or messages from the other side. You will be called to deliver a message or act on behalf of someone's ancestors or loved one. It is a time for you to learn more about your natural mediumship and channeling skill. Now, y'all might think that, oh no, I don't do that. I don't do that. But when you give advice to a loved one or to a friend or a family member, perhaps at the end of that whole conversation, you go, where did that come from? How did I know that? How did I know to say all those words? It's because you were acting as a medium. You were bringing forth that information and that advice from a place deeper than your own consciousness, okay? That's what a medium does. When this shows up as divination, the meaning means hone your natural mediumship with study and practice. Begin by asking your spirit guides and ancestors to surround you in a protective bubble of gold light. Read about mediumship, join a development group, or attend a workshop Do not be afraid of your gifts. It is wonderful to do what you do. And it is. It's wonderful. When I do readings, when I do mediumship, when I talk to deceased loved ones on behalf of a client, it is one of the most beautiful things in the world. And I'm so grateful and honored to be able to provide that service. That's what this card is asking you to do, Rachel, is just to be open to that. Your ancestors want you to be using those skills. It doesn't mean that you have to set up shop and become a tarot reader or any of that stuff. It just needs to be open to it and don't be afraid to use it. See, Rachel, right on. I am so glad that you appreciated getting that card, and I hope it encourages you to continue moving in that direction, okay? We need people to step more fully into their spirit selves and to act from that place instead of our ego-driven human selves. Now, I'm not going to poo-poo the ego. The ego is an amazing, amazing tool. But when it stands in our way of spiritual evolution, that's when we have to kind of like silence it a bit and delve deeper into spirit so that we can bring forth the gifts that we came into this earth to share. There's no point in having a gift if you're not going to share it. That's just my thought. Excuse me. And you're very welcome, Sherry. I'm glad that that card was helpful. I hope that it too encourages you to keep working in that vein. And I can promise you, when I come through Portland, I will be letting you know so that we can meet up and have coffee. So if there is anybody else listening to this video, on this video, and you want a card, please just pop a little something on that comment line. I will be glad to pull a card for you and read the meaning. I also want to hear whether or not this is a deck that you would be interested in using yourself, okay? Now, in the book, let's go back to the book for a minute. It talks about how to use your cards. You know, of course, going into a somewhat meditative state where you have shut out the exterior world and now you're living within your own head and heart. Then it talks about some layouts that you can do. This one is a typical past, present, future layout, little 3-card layout. Let me get out of the sunlight. Past, present, future. You can also use this instead of past, present, future. You can say, what is the problem? What can I do about it? What is the potential outcome? You can do 3 cards that way. This is a way forward layout. It almost reminds me of a Celtic cross, but it's missing some additional cards. But this helps you to look at the next 12 months and give you an insight on how to move forward in your life. It tells you what numbers of the cards mean in the reading. And then it just goes right into the actual description of the cards themselves. So it's a very brief book. I kind of like that. It's not like an encyclopedia. I like that it has the story of the card, the message of the ancestors, the divination meaning. I like all that. It's very clear and direct to the point. And yeah, and I especially love the imagery. I mean, these cards are beautiful. And again, look, they're not glossy, they're matte. So they're not going to be all flashy and distorting the image. So what do you guys think? Do you like this deck? Do you think that it's something that you could use in your own life? One of the things that I like, this again, Oracle cards is divination. It's divination, okay? So when you're calling upon this ancestral spirit, you know, Oracle deck, you are bringing up the truth from within you. You'll be shuffling your own cards. You'll be pulling your own cards and divining the message to any problem, any situation, any confusion you may be having. The trick is in trusting it. And the only way that you can begin to trust your own divination is by following it and see what happens. Just commit to it. I'm going to do what this card says and see what happens. That's how you build trust in your divination. Right, Rachel? Just based on the imagery. Absolutely. Rachel says that she thinks it's a deck she would use for herself for sure. Yes, that's what I like too, Sherry. I do not like those shiny oracle cards. It kind of distorts the image for me. Right on, Rachel. Yeah. So this deck again is called Ancestor Spirit Oracle Cards by Jade Sky. I also like that she has included cultures from all over the world, again, strengthening my position that shamans are all over the world. Because in most of her readings, she refers to, if not shamans directly, a concept of shamanic practice. I like that. And I like that in some of these cards, she includes animals. That's very shamanic. Remember who you are. Now, a friend of mine this morning, she expressed that she was vacillating between a couple of decisions that she has to make regarding a trip. And I told her that I was going to pull a card for her. And so if you'll just stick with me, let's just see what comes up for her when I ask the universe her question, okay? Excuse me. So, goddesses, we turn our attention to the individual that's not present on this video. I would just like to just hold her in my mind and ask the question, is it in her best interest to move forward with the trip as she has planned? Let's see what the universe says. Now, this is a very clear message. One of the reasons why she was questioning whether or not she should make this trip was because of the uptick in COVID. Okay. And she was wondering would she be putting her health in danger. So it's really ironic that it says take your or treat your body well. Let's see what the book says. Treat your body well, page 92. This is from Thailand. Thai culture was influenced by Buddhism from the 12th century. Their holistic approach to living well and avoiding illness, oh my goodness, included physical activity, meditation, diet, herbal medicines, and massage. Thai massage combines Ayurvedic principles, acupuncture, and assisted yoga positions. The technique is based upon energy lines in and along the body, and the idea that these energy lines are responsible for balancing and energizing the physical, mental, and emotional processes in the body. It is believed this practice was used to treat Buddhist monks and nuns to ease sore muscles after hours of sitting in the lotus meditation pose. Massage is mentioned in the Pali Canon, the earliest surviving Buddhist scriptures. The practice of Thai massage was honored and preserved by Buddhist monks who passed down the information from one master to the next, also through medical texts that were carved in stone. The ancestors say, nurture your whole self and look after your physical body. People often think they don't have enough time to take care of themselves, but it is about making the time so you have more energy for yourself and others. Start caring for your body, heart, and mind to avoid tiredness or becoming disconnected from your spirit and energy source. Enjoy a massage, sign up for yoga, add a suitable activity to your weekly or daily routine that will contribute to your wellness. Your muscles will benefit from the exercise, and afterwards, your energy will flow better. You will feel re energized. If you get this card in a divination, which is what we just did, this card may be a sign for you to learn massage, practice yoga, or engage in therapeutic activity. As you become healthier and more energized, you will be able to help others by passing on your know how. If you already teach yoga or provide healing massage to others, keep this card as confirmation you're on the right track. Keep up the good work. Now, intuitively, as a psychic, I don't think this has anything to do with should she go and learn massage. Okay, I think that this really is a direct response to her question about treating her body well to maintain her own already established health and vitality. When you go to such a large gathering as she had in mind, you're opening yourself up to all kinds of energy from other people. Their own health conditions may affect her. Just even traveling could take a toll on her. So, what do you think? Do you think that this card answered her question whether or not it's in her interest to go on this trip or not? What do you guys think? What does your intuition tell you? If you had to ask that question and you got that card, do you think you would go? Definitely be mindful. Definitely be mindful of her health if she decides to go. It's, it's a sad truth that COVID affects our decisions. What we would normally not even consider questioning, now we have to question. Okay, so that is a sad truth, but it is what it is. So, yeah, I'm going to give her that advice as well. If she goes, she really needs to be mindful of how she moves in this huge crowd. Be cautious, absolutely. Yeah. So, you guys, that is the Ancestor Spirit Oracle cards. And I like it. I will be using these cards myself. Don't be surprised if they don't show up in some additional work that I end up doing for you. If I see you for a reading, I'm always adding cards to my collection so that I can always have the right language to speak to the client. Your spirit team tells me what deck to use. Sometimes it's just straight up tarot, and that's always going to be Voyager. Sometimes it's oracle cards. So don't be surprised if you don't see this deck again. If you have not already done so, I ask that you go to the Wise Women Pathways Facebook page and take a look at the stone grid ritual that I posted there yesterday for the Venus retrograde, which started yesterday and will go through until January 29th, 28th, 29th, somewhere in there. And during this entire period of time, Venus is giving us an opportunity. I mean, she's just staying, she's stationed there, and she is asking us to unwind all of the energy that is keeping us from living in a state of loving grace. She's also giving us an opportunity to increase the vibration of love within us and around us, because again, it does not help to have a gift if you are not willing to share it. So when we are given the grace of love, it is up to us to share it, to just allow it to flow from us. This does not mean that we become doormats or punching bags or targets for craziness, okay? That doesn't mean that at all. I'm just asking you to be more heart focused and to share that love with others. So the activation affirmation is love. Love flows to me. Love flows from me. Love flows all around me. And this is the gesture that I make when I say that affirmation. Love flows to me. Love flows from me. Love flows all around me. And I envision that love flowing just as I'm speaking those words. You can activate that stone grid for yourself. I left instructions there, and I'll pin it to the top of the page so you can easily find it. But otherwise, I think that this really kind of concludes our session this morning. Again, thank you so much for joining me, and please forgive me for not being able to do this last week as I first intended. But I do take care of my body as well, and when I am not sick, I shut it down. Give it a chance to do its thing. And yeah, so I'm going to go off and do some readings this morning and then go back to taking care of myself. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you, my dear. And I can't wait to see you. Portland's a couple hours away. I'll swing up and see you real soon as the weather gets calm. It's a beautiful day at the beach today, though. All right, you guys, I love you. Always remember that. And I'm always here for you. Go out and make your day a great one. Blessed be you guys. You're very welcome, Rachel. I'll be talking to you real soon.